I've been on this non-duality search, let's say like this, or listening to non-duality for about maybe 8 years, something like that. And I've been through lots of experiences of oneness and contractions, and but now it seems like actually I'm sorry. So confused now.
That's okay. We can just sit in silence until something comes. Just take your time. There's no rush. And this is what the whole of life's like. We're always panicked because we feel like we have to rush and we have to be something, but we never have to be anything. You just sell yourself short. You just sell yourself for cheap every time you try to be something when you're not ready, every time you try to deny emotion or suppress a feeling in order to do action, to speak, to be in relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And when I hear your message, when you said, actually, I think first time when I heard when you said, you have to be yourself. I mean, you have to be 100% yourself. I think that's the worst thing I've ever heard. It would be like, oh my God, I can't be myself. I'm just wrong. I'm not.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not good enough. I just feel most of the time I feel afraid.
Yeah.
I feel agitated. I feel scared of everything. And will I do good or not? It's always like feeling not good enough in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
And when I heard you were saying that, it was like, no, I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, this is
That's why I keep non-duality. I want to be something enlightened. I don't want to be this,
Yeah. Yeah. There's this lady I speak with, who a really lovely lady, and I always get the sense that she feels very disappointed when I imply that she's got to feel her feelings or let it be as it is. And partly is because she's in the mentality of looking at enlightenment in order to escape herself and her problems. And every time we talk again, I get the sense that we start again in a way of me telling her that she has to be herself or feel what she feels. And then she goes back to listening to other non-duality teachers, which are talking about this stillness. And that is part of non-duality. But the way that you see, the stillness is behind all things. So the stillness is actually inside the fear. It is the fear.
Yeah.
And the stillness is your insecurity. But while that functioning of you keep trying to run away from it, there's always a fixation on the movement. There's a fixation of you moving on in time. And so if you listen to the Buddha story, what happened when he sat under the Bodhi tree was not that he accepted heaven or hell. It's that heaven and hell presented themselves and he no longer ran away. And he didn't make himself no longer run away. It was seemingly in the storyline, many years of exploring this subject and many different practices, there was just a point, and some non-duality speakers speak about this, of exhaustion, where he just stopped running away. And then heaven and hell presented itself. And that's extreme, that heaven and hell presented itself, because the way that it presents itself isn't through a TV that you put on late at night. Heaven and hell is, though, that seeking. It is the person. It is the feelings. It's the feeling of hell. I mean, if there was no feeling of hell, if you were watching a hell scene and there was no feeling of hell, it wouldn't be hell. So there was no feeling of fear. And so the Buddha, for 40 days and 40 nights, I mean, that's a long time, heaven and hell was presented and he didn't move. And then there was this stillness, like he was no longer a person moving in time. He was still in awakening, but there was a movement back to the stillness, to that consciousness, to that essence which is ever present and never moved. So you could say in a way, when he was sitting under the tree, he was no longer the Buddha. He was not the Buddha, Gautama, sorry. After the awakening and the liberation after the tree, he got called the Buddha. But before that, he was called Gautama. He was no longer that person. There had been a movement back to that stillness. So that was an awakening. But then heaven and hell had to present itself because his body was still programmed to seek. So he still had the energy of seeking for freedom in time. And so that presented itself, but he, who he truly was, didn't move. And then that energy of Maya burnt itself out. But that's intense, 40 days and 40 nights of heaven and hell. So imagine now you got presented all the wealths in front of you. You got presented, with everything you've ever dreamed of. There was no longer any involvement in that. There was no longer a Gautama there that was trying to find So heaven and hell presented itself. And you can go back and listen to this afterwards if you miss it. So heaven and hell presented itself, and there was no longer a Gautama there that was getting involved. So, if your desire is having thousands of beautiful women looking at you, or thousands of beautiful men, or lots of sex, or money, or a beautiful home, or the perfect children, whatever it was, Gautama no longer tried to reach out for that. And he no longer tried to reach out to avoid hell. It just played. Both played. And it wasn't to him that it was playing. He had dissolved by that point, or there was a certain amount of dissolving. It was to who he truly was. Which has never moved. So that which looks now, that which is experiencing now, that essence, that amness has never moved. There's always been amness, and there's always been looking. There's always been this sense of existence, this experiencer. And that's never belonged to somebody moving in time. The somebody moving in time is appearing inside this dream.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I forgot originally what you were saying. To take it back to you and your question.
The question was
so now what's got to happen is there's got to be an absolute allowance of what happens there in that body.
Yeah, but it's such a tremendous fear.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I don't call it a fear, it feels like burning.
Yeah.
It's like burning. Sometimes in the stomach, sometimes in the heart area, sometimes in the neck, sometimes in the throat, and it's always just burning and burning and burning, and sometimes my body is shaking, and mostly I feel that I'm going crazy, and that I'm losing my mind, and that I'm not capable of cope with everyday life, and
how old's your child?
He's 2.5.
Well, just on the practical level, there it really sounds like there's a big awakening happening there. But on the practical level, make sure that you go to the doctors and check that your hormone levels are all, and just have a health checkup, because sometimes after you've had a child, I know from all my friends, I've never had one, but on the sense of awakening, the reason that your mind's going crazy is because it's trying to avoid those sensations. It doesn't want to have those sensations. So it keeps looking for stories, changing the stories, trying to understand. And then there's this huge energy that goes into the mind to try and avoid them. But that mind and that bodily sensations are connected. So that mind kind of encourages those sensations. And if you can give yourself time to just sit during the day, I know it's super hard with a child.
Yeah, but I managed to do that, actually.
Yeah.
And
and what you can do is, if your mind's going really crazy, like, you can chant. So you can chant what you feel. I know this sounds really crazy, but just go back to very simple chant, like words, like I feel scared, I feel scared, I feel scared, I'm afraid. And you can speak it out, because and when you're speaking it out, it will stop repeating in the stories, because what the stories will be doing is they will be trying to make up a story about it, about whose fault it is,
Yeah.
about what's wrong with you, about what your life is. And if you just go back to these simple chants, it stops it going into those stories and just takes it back to the simple motion. Basically, what needs to happen is just attention on the physical sensation of the emotion. But that's very hard because we've got so much energy that goes up into our head area.
Actually, it's not so hard
Yeah.
to, because I'm used to, as I said already, I'm listening to Non-Duality for
Yeah.
about 8 years. So, I mean, it's I've been through all kinds of spiritual
Oh,
practices,
nice. Yeah.
meditations,
Yeah.
yoga,
Yeah.
tai chi, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can do all
So,
those things and it will help to an extent.
but
But
now I just feel like I don't want to do anything, you
yeah,
know? I
just,
just want to be here
yeah,
and just feel this.
yeah, yeah,
And it
totally.
is, my mind is going crazy, and I feel sometimes I'm losing it, you know, but
Yeah.
I know that I'm not that mind, and I know that I'm that
Yeah,
stillness.
beautiful. Yeah.
It's just that sometimes I lose the trust, you
Yeah.
know. I like, uh, what if, you know,
Yeah.
what if?
Well, just go to the doctors and get your blood tested. I don't know what they do, but to make sure that the hormones and everything and the body is working well. And I would recommend that to everyone, not because I think that everybody is ill or anything, but because then it takes that level out. And then you can totally trust this process. Like, 'cause it takes out the level, like you don't
My
need to
mind.
tell the doctor, you just need a blood test to see what's going on with your hormones or to see what's going on with your vitamins to make sure that your body's healthy and that that's all well. And then totally trust this. That you
I
just
can,
need to give it some time. Hello?
I can trust. I mean, is it really safe?
Yeah, it is really safe. That's your nature. But I mean, I do recommend the other thing because then you can have that taken off. And I suspect, to be honest with you, actually, you most probably are deficient of some stuff. Not that's not the reason your mind's going crazy, but because you've had a baby and also you're living in a cold country, I can bet you they'll give you. So, and there's also a lady that I know where you can send off your DNA and she can test you as well. But that's not why your mind's going crazy. Your mind's going crazy because you've been doing this subject for 8 years and you're no longer feeding its addiction, but the body's still got the addiction to seeking.
Yeah.
That's why your mind's going crazy. But after this, if you write to me, I will also send you this other lady where instead of going to a doctor, she's a natural. She was a trained psychiatrist and doctor, and then she gave all that up, and she only does the natural medicine now. And you can send off your DNA, and then she can test it, which I always recommend to people because then it just wipes out that level. And normally, most people are deficient because of our lifestyles
Yeah.
and this society. But you can totally trust this.
Yeah, I'm.
It's the most important part. And it's not me you're trusting, even though I'm the one saying this, and it's not other speakers you're trusting. What you're trusting is your own essence, that own light of what you are, that which is always present, that never left.
It's very interesting how life cut me off all my friends that were, let's say, close to me in spiritual subjects and, you know, non-duality or whatever in spiritual. So it's just, since I've got pregnant, it's just me and the baby, and even so I had to move also in completely unknown area, where don't I don't have friends anymore. I'm just alone with my child, and now he's going to kindergarten, so I'm really a lot of the time alone. And my husband got a job um, also in Germany, so he's not with us. It's just like, it had to cut me off everything,
Yeah.
everything. And before I used to be a vegetarian, and I also stopped being vegetarian. It was a long time my identity also, and I felt like it just I had to start to eat meat, and it was like, okay, now this was also identity, so just move it. It's not in vegetarianism or in
Yeah.
veganism. You know,
Yeah.
you will not become enlightened if you eat only vegetarian food. Yeah. So it was just like a really, really huge turnaround and cutting off everything that was familiar. And yeah.
Yeah, I tend to do that.
Yeah. Also, funny how I'm listening to your videos for a long time, a few years, I don't know how long. And actually, it's funny how I also went to south of France, and I lived there for some
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw you move there, and it's like, wow. Actually, when I was there, one shaman woman told me that all the people that are in Christ vibration, that are connected with this Christ vibration, and that are how did she say that? Carriers of Christ vibration will come to live around Bugarach, like 100 kilometers around the mountain.
In the south of France?
Yeah, Bugarach. You
It's
never
so...
heard of it?
No, how do you spell it? Let's have a look.
B
Hang on a second,
U
let me open a browser. B,
U
yeah,
G
yeah,
A
yeah,
R
yeah,
A
yeah.
E H.
TH. I think, do you know, I think I do know this because I think that,
It's a bit a crazy area.
I think it's where these people got wiped out. It's I've heard of it. I think it's where this religion got wiped out.
What do you mean?
I can't
Religion?
remember. They had a religion and then it was, I forget. Oh my God! It's really close to me.
I can't believe, I don't even know where are you, but I know that you're in south of France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, she said also that like that I am this Christ vibration carrier. Yeah, and also that all the people that have this vibration will come to live there, 100 kilometers around the mountain, in next 10 years or something like that. And it was before I was there in 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really weird experience. I went with my friend on a bike from Croatia to the Bugarach mountain. Yeah, you should visit. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. Yeah.
Ah, I will. Next time I go down, it's further down towards Spain than where I am, but it's not far away. Like a
It's
2 hour
they say
drive.
it's something with Mary Magdalene, and I
Yeah,
don't know. Well, you will hear everything.
yeah,
there.
and also uh, there's also this other thing that I've heard about this area, about this religion that used to be there. Like it's this really beautiful, the religion that the Christians wiped out. It was all around this area. But,
You mean Qatars?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I know.
But the
Yeah,
thing is my French is so bad. But I'm getting quite good at understanding it. Like I was at a supermarket today, and this lady spoke to me for a while in French, and I think I understood what she was telling me. So I'm getting better. But I
yeah.
am a little bit of the outsider because I don't have anyone that can translate with me for me.
But there are so many people speaking English there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't speak French too, so I
Oh,
only spoke in English.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll check it out the next time I go down to Spain, or if I ever feel like a little bit of
Hey,
a day trip, I'll go down there.
can you see him? Can you see us?
No,
You don't see us?
I see a picture of you with a little plastic something on your son's head.
Oh, why don't you see us?
I've never seen you the whole time we've been talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I thought you
Hey.
realised it's funny, isn't it, when you realise that your video's not been on and you've been acting as if someone could
I'm
see you.
thinking all the
Hey
time like
guys.
you're.
Hey.
Hey,
Oh, he's a real cutie.
Papa. Yeah, he's
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
Mega. Teto. Oh,
And where are you guys? You're in Czech.
Croatia.
Oh, well, lovely speaking to you.
Bye, Teta.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Bye bye. Oh
Bye.
no. Thanks, guys. Bye. Sweet.